Now, despite Adam Wilborn's persistence, absolute persistence, that it's going to be a work, and Adam Wilborn, if it does end up being a work, Jesus Christ, there's going to be absolutely no living with you. But I personally think it's a shoot, as I'm sure the majority of the boys have also stated.
Shoot, I suppose. I mean, do I look like a guy that doesn't enjoy a pasty or two? So I'll happily take plenty off Adam Wilborn.
I believe that Dean Ambrose or Jon Moxley showing up at Double or Nothing, which, by the way, if you stay tuned to WhatCulture Wrestling's YouTube channel this weekend, you can catch myself and the beautiful Adam Nicholas doing a live stream, but I digress, is a shoot.
Shoot. I think it's a shoot. I think he'll turn up, but not in the context a lot of people are talking about online.
It's not that I don't like Dean Ambrose's work or his prior work as Jon Moxley, or even that I'm not excited for the potential of seeing that character again in All Elite Wrestling. It's just that I don't particularly want them to be doing that old TNA trick of relying on old WWE stars when they're not out the blocks themselves. It's been really cool and really exciting hearing about the Chinese company that TNA, this is what Jon Moxley will do here, the All Elite Wrestling we're working with. It's exciting to think about the fact that they're going to crown their first All Elite World Champion, and it might be someone like a Hangman Page that the mainstream industry or the mainstream fans might not necessarily know but are going to come to love. Moxley's great. What we saw of him pre-Dean Ambrose was very exciting. What we saw of him at his best at Dean Ambrose was really, really cool. And yet it just doesn't feel like if they bring him in, they have him win that Battle Royal, they have him fight for the title, that it's going to be that kind of calling card, that guy that's going to tell you that the All Elite Wrestling is the future, All Elite Wrestling is change. He feels like just another WWE superstar coming in to take the spot of somebody we've never heard of.
It just makes sense, doesn't it? Think of the facts here. We've got one thing we do have is Adam Page needs an opponent for Double or Nothing. Could Dean Ambrose / Jon Moxley fill that slot? I don't think so personally, or certainly I don't think it would make sense, because for me, if Moxley's going to have that match, and then he's going to probably have to lose it to Adam Page, maybe not the start that he wants to his AEW career. But if you put him in the Casino Battle Royal, then the possibilities are endless. I mean, have him come out taking the Joker card, for example. If he takes that, that's almost bang on brand, the lunatic. It's Dean Ambrose, it's Jon Moxley. He's crazy. Put him in the match as that card. Who knows? If he maybe even have him win the Battle Royal, that would seem to make sense, wouldn't it? Although, I guess him winning that means he would then go on to challenge for the AEW Championship. He's a big name, let's be honest, and compared to all the other guys who are in the Battle Royal, no disrespect to them, there are some solid performers in there. He's the name, isn't he? I mean, Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley would be, he'd be an ex-WWE star they could present in a really flattering light. It would be the perfect thing to say where they could have done it with Pac in the match against Hangman Page. You could use Moxley as a person to say, look, this is what the grass could be like on the other side. It could be much greener than WWE, and they could give him the sort of platform to bring in other talents who are probably thinking, okay, the money's good, but are we going to get the kind of opportunities that we get at WWE?
My argument here, there are two counterpoints. Number one, he is filming a movie. Now, this has been trotted out quite a lot over the past few weeks. It just seems a little bit too convenient. No specific filming schedule or shooting schedule for this movie has ever been released to wrestling media. We've never heard specifics. All we know is that it's an MMA-themed film. We know the stars, we know the plot, blah, 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 but we don't know the logistics of it. Those details have never been forthcoming. And they just seem to be trotted out at every convenient moment. Now, AEW have a number of big spots to fill this weekend. They have the Casino Battle Royale, and the winner of that match will go on to face Kenny Omega or Chris Jericho for the belt at a future event. A big name needs to fill that. Now, I love some of the people in this Battle Royal. MJF, quality, incredible heel. Billy Gunn for the banter. Joey Janela, one of my favorite wrestlers in the world right now. But are these guys going to sell pay-per-views? Are they going to entice the important casual audience to shell out $50 or whatever they're going to charge for that future show? I don't know if they are. Jon Moxley, a guy they'll recognize from WWE, I think he almost certainly will.
A lot of people in the wake of the old Pac cancellation stuff have mooted him as the replacement for Hangman Page. I can't see that happening. I think they're a bit cannier than that, because that match, the absence of it, opens up they need to do a banger, basically. They need a total 4.5-star banger to replace it, otherwise there'll be some disappointment. There's been rumours of Joey Ryan, possibly, and it would play wonderfully off last year's All-In storyline for an actual match between the two, especially 1 year later. But I just think they're savvy enough to realise that that's a bit too much banter where a banger is required, yes, I am a hack. A massive one.
All that said, I did say shoot. I did start this with shoot because I do think he'll be there, and I think he'll be there on Saturday night. I think he might even be there on the pre-show. I think what they do have in him is superstar quality. They're going to run the Casino Battle Royale. There's got to be a mystery number 21. I've pitched on every single What Culture vehicle I can get away with, podcasts, articles, please read my articles, that he's going to be Jake Roberts' surprise number 22 when there's supposed to be a wildcard 21 to pay off the fact that we can all laugh at Jake Roberts' alcoholism now. But it's a nice gag these days. Jake Roberts is a clean man, so we're allowed to make these jokes, and Dean Ambrose once popped when Jake Roberts' snake was being sick on him in an episode of Monday Night Raw, so there's a callback for all those fans that remember that. I think he'll be there. I think he'll win that Battle Royal. I think he'll be an immediate challenger at the title. I don't necessarily think he'll win because, as I say, I don't think it'd be a brilliant look for them to have a WWE cast off, which is what many will cast him as being their sort of first world champion. But I think he's a believable and a tangible main eventer in 2019, and they're still looking for those. They're still looking for those guys to put on posters, looking for dream matches. Some people might consider Kenny Omega versus the former Dean Ambrose a dream match. They might look at Hangman Page versus Jon Moxley as a kind of a modern spin on a WWE match that we might have got had the two men made different decisions in their career. So I do think he will sign with them. I do think he'll be there on Saturday because they'll be looking for every single pop they can get. They've lost Hangman Page and Pac, so there's every chance he could be the mystery man there. You know, there's a number of ways that they can use him, and I think that, if anything, is why he's going to be so valuable to them in Las Vegas. They've got this card, they've got this virtually perfect debut showcase for All Elite Wrestling, but surprises are a key part of that. And so far, what we're going off is what we've been promoted with, and it'd be lovely to think that they've got a couple of aces up their sleeve. There's that Vegas theme for you. Dean Ambrose is not the ace, but I suppose he could be a reasonable king of diamonds or something like that. I don't know. Like, this is going to sound like I've started as I've finished here, like unenthusiastic. Good for Jon Moxley for going out there and making that money. Is that positive enough? Can I be excited enough about like everything else at All Elite Wrestling and not be that bothered about this particular story?
I can understand why some people, and I mean you, Wilborn, when I say some people, think this might be a work, because at the end of the day, WWE have never ever done the thing where they've kind of wished someone well when they left the company and made such a big song and dance about somebody actually leaving. But just do the math, man. It's simple. They want him back one day or another. He could always come back. The Shield is such a valuable commodity that they don't necessarily want to just throw that away. So keep Dean Ambrose sweet, and maybe Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose, whatever, keep him sweet, and then maybe one day he'll come back once he's had his fun off on, I was going to say the Indies there, but this isn't the Indies. This is the opposition. This is the competition against WWE. If Ambrose or Moxley, god damn it, that's going to be annoying when we're doing the whole watching the thing on screen. I'm definitely going to keep getting that wrong. But if he goes away and makes a bigger name for himself, a la Cody or whatever, he's only going to come back as the hottest commodity for WWE. To add, they've got the sort of the massively, massively bankable and marketable thing of the Shield, which they're never going to want to truly throw away. So yes, keeping that door open is probably in their best interest. So while we may not have seen that from them in the past, it makes sense for this one. So ultimately, all in all, I think, cards on the table, cards on the table, just like Double or Nothing. I think Moxie is going to be there, and I think he's going to be in the Casino Battle Royal. And I tell you what, I'll go all out. I think he's going to win it.
The other counter-argument to the claim is that this is a work and that he's not left WWE. Now, I think this is nonsense. I think it's born of the same mentality that prompts people in their bedrooms to come up with ridiculous photoshops of Apollo Crews and Cesaro in the WrestleMania main event. It's nerd nonsense. What happens here is that people are so fed up and dissatisfied with WWE's creative content that they come up with these crazy scenarios in their head because they sound oh so satisfying to them. And so you got all these numpties on message boards and stuff saying that it's a work and he's going to come back as Moxley and he's going to lead a faction of disgruntled stars like the Revival. It's nonsense. It is absolute nonsense. The reason that WWE gave him such a fond farewell, that they gave him so many goodbye matches and fun moments, is because they want him to come back someday. They have been resigned to losing him for now, but they want to go out on good terms so that when Jonathan Good, I believe that's his real name, decides, you know what, maybe I don't want to go to an AEW, maybe I don't want to do this hardcore stuff on the indies anymore, maybe I just want to go back to that nice WWE lifestyle, that it's an easy transition. So, To summarize all this, I do believe he's showing up at Double or Nothing. I do believe he's winning the Casino Battle Royale. And I do believe he will face Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship at All In 2. All Out. All In, All Out.
Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Sweet.
Obviously, Jon Moxley has like a great record of big matches, but he's had so few opportunities to do them recently that I don't think a lot of people can necessarily buy into it as like a proper replacement for that match, particularly for that audience, which is very different to the WWE audience. And I think a lot of people will probably think that Jon Moxley, like one video isn't going to change things. As impeccably produced as it was, and as much as it got people talking, I just don't think he's that replacement. In fact, as a segue to who I think that replacement will be, I want to put this on record, Adam Nicholas, for one reason and one reason only.
Exclusive.
Do you want to know what this is?
Please.
I want people to think I'm right because I need the validation of strangers. So for posterity's sake, I honestly think they're going to get Kota Ibushi as a replacement. And if they don't get someone from New Japan, I'm going to start maybe asking questions about their ability to maneuver, because they just loaned out Jericho, essentially. I know there's probably something in his contract that says, you know, he can work elsewhere, he can tour with Fozzy, we know that. But if they've been in negotiations, Jericho, AEW, NJPW, just think, well, scratch our back, let us have something like in the bank. So I think they're going to get Kota Ibushi with the Elite connection. And I think that would be a great thing. A really great thing. Moxley, I think, will turn up, however, in the Battle Royal. Perfect way to create buzz, get social media engagement, because that thing's free. And if they see Moxley, they might have a last minute, let's get this pay-per-view bought because big things are going to happen. Not CM Punk. CM Punk's not turning up.
CM Punk.
Not CM Punk. Imagine the numbers if we did that. Might as well have done that again. What was it, like 200k in about 12 hours? Yeah. CM Punk returns to WWE. Gotcha. We gotcha.
You've got something to say about this, haven't you?
Just ironic. He's not taking any independent wrestling bookings, is what you're saying, despite the fact that he's left WWE.
Not yet.
Coincidence, that, isn't it?
Just say it, mate.
It's almost like Dean Ambrose leaving WWE is a work. They've written this in so he can go off and shoot this film without it being a little bit weird that he's not appearing on TV every week. It's a work. Did you not see over the weekend when they had their final chapter? This is the last time you'll definitely ever see the Shield. And then they released a video over the weekend saying, can the Shield convince Dean to stay? And then he can have this big dramatic return, whether it is as Dean Ambrose or Jon Moxley. I'm telling you, it's a work. How far does this conspiracy go? Is there even a cage fighter film? It's a work. It's always been a work. And when it comes true, when Dean Ambrose returns, I'm going to make every single person in this office apologise to me. It's a bloody work, I told you! What do you think? Do you think it's just legitimate?
Yeah, I mean, I don't adhere to wacky conspiracy theories, so yeah. Look, I'm just really looking forward to seeing what he does next, whether that's in films, whether that's on the indies, whether that's in AEW, whether that's in WWE.
When he comes back, yeah. Probably around sort of SummerSlam, yeah.
Anyway, next story.